Hi there, this is Matt with State of Flex here with a review from my Pixar set. The next movie is Finding Nemo. So we're taking a look here at Finding Nemo. This is a movie that I always kind of liked, however I feel like more people love this movie than I ever did. I always liked it. I thought it was, at the time, the third best of the movies, not anywhere near as good as Toy Story or Monsters, Inc., but significantly better than Toy Story 2 or A Bug's Life. So it was kind of a middle-of-the-ground movie for me, but middle-of-the-ground for Pixar means better than pretty much everything else out in the animated market, shy of the Ghibli films at the time. Revisiting it now as a parent of a school-age kid, the film shifted for me quite a bit. The film works because it's basically about the art of letting go and letting grow. And I never felt oppressed by my parents. I definitely had parents that were very overprotective, but that didn't bother me, so I never related to it. It didn't have the resonance that maybe it had for some other kids at the time of when it came out. My parents let me kind of grow on my own. They were overprotective to a certain extent, but it just didn't work for me in that sense. Watching it as a parent now of a school-age kid, I related to it a lot more from the perspective of the dad, and how difficult it is to let your child go so that they can grow. And that was something that I found really compelling through this watch. Certainly the opening scene always had such a spectacular, emotionally resonant hook. I think this is probably the start of the Pixar emotional openings that they would become known for throughout many of the other movies, not least of which is Up, which is still talked about to this very day. This one had such a powerful opening, and then I felt like a lot of the rest of the movie coasted on your emotional feeling of that until its relatively strong conclusion. But watching this as a child, or as a parent, was different for me, and I found myself appreciating it much more. And maybe it's because I go to such extreme lengths for my children, that I completely buy everything that Marlon is doing and whatnot. But also, I've always tried to take a step back and allowed my daughter, or daughters at this point, to grow and be their own person, and how difficult and challenging it is to let go. And watching a film that conveys that so powerfully made me appreciate it on a much stronger level. I've always thought that the performance work is spectacular. Ellen DeGeneres is amazing as Dory. Dory is a character that on paper probably came off annoying, and there's potential elements of that there, but how she works into the emotional pivot point of the story, and how her somewhat annoying tendencies become something that you really want to nurture and hone in on. Caring for her and being there for her is so strong, and I think that purely comes through in the voice work. If she wasn't as great as she was, I think this movie would have floundered quite a bit. Yeah, I have to really give props to Ellen DeGeneres there. I know she's somewhat of a toxic figure in modern setting, but I have to give acknowledgement and a tip of the hat to the exceptional casting of her and her great work in this film. The animation in this film is a step up. Like with each of the Pixar films, you've gotten an improvement, and I think at the time this was easily the best looking of the 5-film set. The thing that impressed me upon my first viewing of it is the little particles that are in the water. And I was like, at the time there was no water that looked so incredibly real and authentic and stuff like that, and that added a lot to the experience of watching the film. And like in a post-Avatar 2 world, watching that water, which did feel incredibly authentic and real. This one, you can see the animated elements to it quite a bit more, but it's 20 years old, and for 20 years old, this animation still holds up really strong. It's just once the human characters, they still hadn't perfected human characters quite yet at this point in the Pixar landscape, or really any of the animated landscapes at the time. That would shift pretty soon in the Pixar mythos within the next couple of films. But this one is a strong film, stronger than I ever gave it credit for. And I give it a very firm 3.5 stars. This is a great movie. I love its color scheme. The orange and blues add a vibrance, but sort of the haunting nature of like, my child is gone, I need to find it, and like that desperation feeling that parents get from time to time when you're trying to care for or navigate surroundings that like give you that desperate feeling as a parent, is captured just with the color scheme of the film. And even with the like Marlon finds Dory being this blue character, just the visual there too. Like even though he has somebody, he still has this desperate feeling of loss and kind of like this open sea of blueness. Making Dory blue was kind of brilliant as well, because she is there, she is a presence and a helping point for you, but at the same time you don't feel any less desperate because she has the memory loss issues and stuff. And I like how they address her memory loss. As it comes off kind of funny in this until it's not. And I like the building blocks that the next movie in the franchise really gets you to understand the in a non-ableist way the Dory perspective. Dory's put to really great use in this film. But we'll discuss more as that movie comes along in due time. Let me know what you think of Finding Nemo. Are you a parent like me that found a new resonance that this film like has that was unbeknownst to you beforehand? Let me know about that in the comments down below. And then up next we're going to be discussing The Incredibles, and I'm really excited to talk about that one. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.